Is it just me, or is it ironic that International Women's Day lands on daylight savings?
Oh, it's ironic because most women with ADHD plan way too much into one day and then add on time blindness.
The day that's supposed to internationally recognize our contributions as women is also the day you're going to yank an hour out of our lives and destabilize our entire rhythm.
It's a bold choice,
It's aggressive scheduling.
but it's very on brand for ADHD women.
This is Angry on the Inside. I'm Jess.
And I'm Jeannine. We're both ADHD coaches, but this podcast isn't coaching.
It's not therapy or medical advice.
It's just real, honest conversations about being women with late diagnosed ADHD and everything that goes along with it.
So take what resonates and leave the rest. Just a little caveat, we are dealing with some post-COVID voice over here, so if I sound like a frog, Jeannine, that's what's going on.
No, I think it's kind of sexy.
Thank you. That's so thoughtful of you to say. Today, we're covering two things we didn't initially think were connected: International Women's Day and daylight savings times.
But we let the pattern recognition set in and realized they share a very specific audience.
ADHD women. International Women's Day is observed globally on March 8th. It began in the early 1900s through the labor movements for women advocating for safer working conditions, voting rights. It became a global day of recognition, celebrating the contributions of women. We're also acknowledging that the equity gap still exists.
Including the invisible labor gap. In the U.S., women still spend significantly more time on unpaid labor, including caregiving, household management, emotional coordination, scheduling, remembering birthdays, tracking appointments, the whole mental load.
That's a lot. That's a lot of information. And that's a lot of hours that we rack up that a lot of times we don't realize. And we're not pointing this out because we want to brag or because we want to bitch. And for ADHD women, that mental load hits differently because executive function is already effortful. Time management is already nonlinear. Task initiation already takes energy.
When we talk about recognizing women's contributions, we're also talking about recognizing the invisible systems women build to keep everything moving, including the systems ADHD women build just to stay afloat.
And that does deserve recognition, not in a performative way, but in an honest way.
With all that in mind, let's remove an hour.
Quietly subtract 60 minutes from women who are already stretching time in creative ways. For ADHD women who already live in a constant negotiation with time, that lands. Many of us already feel like we're trying to do 12 hours of life inside of 8, and somehow blaming ourselves for not finishing the 13th. We overschedule, we underestimate, we hyperfocus, we lose track. And then once a year, the clock just confirms the feeling.
Time is fluid, time is theoretical, time is aggressive scheduling.
I do love the idea of aggressive scheduling. It's like, "Rawr." And a real way, time matters. For some of us, it's we can't function way because rhythm matters.
Research shows that many people with ADHD tend to have a delayed circadian rhythm. Our internal clock often runs later than what society expects. That's definitely my kid.
Which explains why so many ADHD women feel wide awake at night and not exactly thrilled about the mornings.
That is an understatement. Melatonin timing can run later too. Cortisol rhythms can be shifted. It's not just bad habits. The internal clock can just generally be offset.
Many women aren't in a position where they're able to lean into their natural circadian rhythm that flows with their ADHD. So if your mornings feel a little hostile, that might just be biology.
And if your internal rhythm already runs slightly later, and then we move the clock forward, it can feel like being pushed further out of sync.
Depending on your sleep pattern and where your nervous system is sitting this time of year, it can feel close to catastrophic. Your brain and the sun are in different stratospheres.
And ADHD brains already work harder to regulate attention and energy across the day.
The symbolism of International Women's Day and daylight savings time falling on the same day is funny, but it is a layered topic, a topic that maybe some of us might need some laughter to keep from crying. Even though it's only small portions of the world that observe the daylight savings time, it is still horribly impactful upon all of us who have circadian rhythm issues or are dealing with these full packed lives that we're running downhill just trying to keep up with. The irony isn't just about losing an hour. Maybe it's recognizing that ADHD women are already struggling with the hours in a day that we have.
A lot of late diagnosed ADHD women spent years believing they were behind. I did.
Me too. Behind on organization, behind on consistency, behind on being a frickin' adult.
In reality, many of us were just building invisible scaffolding just to function in systems that weren't built for our brains and mind, like everything else.
Mental checklist, backup plans for the backup plans.
Over preparing because we've never underestimated before.
Carrying the mental load, the emotions, the time.
And doing it while often feeling like we weren't doing enough.
International Women's Day is about recognizing contributions.
So this is recognition.
For the woman who's figuring it all out without a map,
And the woman who learned she had ADHD somewhere between her 20s and her 90s and had to rewrite her entire self-narrative.
for the woman who's still carrying things that no one sees, that counts. That has always counted. And even you didn't know why it was so hard. Yes, the symbolism of losing an hour on International Women's Day is loud.
But so is this. ADHD women are doing far more than they even think they are.
If this resonated, send this to the ADHD woman in your life who does more than she admits, even if she forgets to set her clocks forward every year.
And remember, you're not alone, and you're not the only one who's angry on the inside.